Lisa, the love coach here. So happy you clicked on this video to learn all about codependency. This is based on a letter. I get a lot of viewer mail, as you can imagine, from the people who find my videos, and you could actually write to me and get your free love life assessment. This assessment came through and I wanted to share it as a topic because it is one that is so common and we can always learn from each other. So let's get into this video with an actual letter of somebody's codependency playing out in their relationship. And I am going to read this letter and then interject with my own wisdom, advice, expertise, you name it. It's all going to be given to you. All right, so let's begin. On the assessment, right, on the love life assessment, the first questions that I ask is, what is going on in your love life currently? And this woman says that currently she's single and living alone after she walked away from an 8-year relationship with a man. It's been one of the most difficult things that she's ever done. However, it was a codependent situation with no solution in sight. He no longer came to me, was intimate towards me, and it was making her crazy, she says, right? She says he didn't mind her staying to do her share of the chores, and any dates or dinners that they went on together, she planned them. See, so now she's in her masculine energy, right? Doing too much in the relationship instead of looking at what you're dealing with and deciding if it is for you or not. This is one of the major things that codependents struggle with. It's accepting people for who they are and deciding if they are for you or not. Codependent people think that they should just accept people for who they are and just try to get them to change. These are people who end up trying to fix other people. They try to change other people. They try to manipulate situations to get a different behavior or a different reaction out of the person. So let's continue. The more she did or tried to do made him dislike her more, is what she felt. And the more she did, the less attractive he found her because she was in her masculine energy. This is the problem. You're in a codependent relationship. The other person isn't showing up the way you want them to. But instead of leaving them, you go in even harder. This is because you don't know how to love yourself. You don't have boundaries and you are codependent. But there is a good reason for all of this, right? It's not all bad. There's a good reason, and this is going to be revealed. Typically, it has to do with how you were parented as a child. Your inner child is the one running the relationships if you're codependent. You're operating from a wounded place instead of your adult, confident, mature, self-reliant, fulfilled beingness. Right? So you're trying too hard to get the love that only you can give to yourself. She says that she had no way of communicating what she needed because she already lived with him, and it was her role, she believes, to just do what she was doing in his house and to basically be quiet and be nice to him. Meanwhile, she was suffering in silence and it was making her ugly from within. So a few things here. Do not live with someone unless you are engaged. You don't move in with anyone. This is not the way to go about this. Stop playing house. Stop getting all wrapped up in the need of other people to fulfill you. So the second they say we should move in together, you oblige. No, I don't move in unless I have a ring and a commitment of marriage. And I don't move into someone's home, right? I move into a home that we have together. And not everybody wants to sell their house. So maybe you come in and say, well, I would want to have a stake in this house. I'd want to redecorate. I want this house to be ours. I don't want to move into your house with you. I want to make this house our home. You need to start showing up in relationships like a mature adult and not a little child. And inner child work, which is what I teach, helps people to leave that codependent version of themselves and step into the true confident version of themselves, the healed, the whole, the self-loving version of themselves. So a mistake this woman made, obviously, was moving in with this man. You don't move in. And I'm hopeful that when we get to the end of this letter, I'm hopeful that that is a big lesson that she learned. She moved back to the town that she was born in as a starting point for being on her own. And lately she feels even worse. She sometimes hopes that the distance and silence will help him come back to her, but he hasn't. You can't be like this. You're sitting here pining over a man who already showed you through his actions his level of interest for you. He didn't want to be with you. He doesn't want to be with you. You were with this person for 8 years. Far too long. Far too long. If you knew that marriage and family is what you want, 2 years. Not even. You have to learn how to operate based on what you want. If you are dating and your intention is, I am dating to find the husband of my husband and father of my children, that will tell a man right there if he's for you or not. And then you go along the relationship and you start to watch the actions. Is he sitting back and letting you plan everything, letting you navigate the relationship, putting you in your masculine energy? You walk away from that. That's not a husband. That's not a leader. That's a boy. That's a little boy. So you have to learn how to date and how to be in relationships from a mature woman's stance. And as long as you are still injured and wounded from the things that happened to you as a child, you will always show up in relationships trying to fill voids that only you can fill. You will look to relationships for the give me this affirmation, give me this love, approval, validation, see me, hear me, please. Because you haven't healed that little girl. So she is looking outside of you, out there to other people to give her the things that only you can give her. So anytime she says now that she's alone and she's meeting people, which she's codependent, so right away they don't know how to take time in between relationships, right away they start dating again. So she quizzes these people on their intent. Good move, because she doesn't want to waste her time anymore. So this is great. And then they fall out of contact with her, and she lets that happen because they probably can tell by her energy that she's still wounded and that she's dealing with the aftermath of this 8-year relationship and not allowing the time for her to go back to herself and do the necessary healing before dating again. She's putting herself out there too soon. I ask, what patterns do you see in your love life? And she says, she's very passionate, meaning codependent, clingy. Right? When people say they are very passionate, it means they're intense. They're coming with an intensity. There is no ease and relaxed energy, feminine energy. Everything is kind of energy. Gotta get love. Gotta find love. Instead of, I attract love. Love comes to me. I receive it. I know how to receive love from a man. And that laid back energy causes the man to lean into you. And really the reason for masculine energy in women is rooted in a woundedness that has not been addressed. So the easiest thing to become more feminine is to address the wounds that put you in your masculine. These habits, this hypervigilance, hyper-independence. So she did more instead of pulling back. When he pulled back, she leaned in more. It's the reverse, right? He pulls away, she went leaning in. No, he pulls away, you pull away, he leans in. And if he doesn't lean in, you go away, right? You get to decide. You don't take it for 8 years. You wanted to be a mother, you wanted to be a wife, and you stayed with this man too long because you're codependent. And codependents always stay in relationships far too long than they need to. Very passionate. And while this seems to be enjoyed in the beginning of the relationship, she says that her feelings are shelved later. And then she starts buying gifts, trying to compensate for what she's lacking. So she's trying to buy love, earn her love. Instead of just saying, this person is not loving me the way I need to be loved. We are not a fit. I am going to leave this relationship. She also says that she starts doing things and overextending herself just to become resentful later. This is why. This is why you walk away. You don't do more. He asks for, takes, and accepts all of those efforts. So she's doing, and he's like, thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you, I appreciate that. But she's doing it because she wants more from him. No initiated kisses, no intimacy, no passion, no marriage, no children. He gets loyalty and devotion, and she just comes away with lessons that she didn't ask for. But your soul asked for them. You were put in that relationship to heal, because what you don't heal will play out in your relationships. Everything was always mind over matter, a broken record. So I guess he was always manipulating her with the expression mind over matter. Well, here's the mind over matter. I mind that I'm with you for 8 years and we don't have a ring and a discussion of marriage and family. And yes, it does matter. You have to learn how to advocate for yourself and ask for what you want. And if it is not mutually agreed upon, and after 8 years, you should know, you leave. You will never get your time back again. Do not allow anyone to take it from you. It's thievery. And it's on you to determine quickly, within the first few dates, if you're both aligned on your future, if you both see the same vision for your future. This woman wants marriage and children. So when she is dating, that is the intention. And if a man doesn't share that intention, you have to keep it moving and fast. You cannot afford to waste another 2 years in a relationship that amounts to nothing, not at 36 years old. So the online assessment allows 3 random questions. You're allowed to just ask, what 3 questions do you want answers to regarding your love life? And if you are interested in getting your love life assessment, you can click the link below in the description and get over to my website, lovequestcoaching.com. The assessment is completely free. And it's just like this. I read it and I respond to you in writing. You're going to have a full report. You can print it out, bring it to your therapist, bring it to your little girl group and talk about it. Whatever, it is yours to keep. Then in that assessment, I also give an outline of what more you can do to begin to advance into healing so that you can actually address the things that come up in the detailed report. Again, that is over at my website, lovequestcoaching.com. And over there as well, you can find my blog with plenty of information. You could also find different programs that I offer. All right, so let's get back to this, her 3 questions. Number 1, how do I get men with true intent to notice me? It's not my job to pursue them. So true, it is not your job to pursue them. It is your job to heal yourself so that you aren't so desperate for a man, so that you are generating your love from within for yourself. You're taking care of yourself emotionally. You're meeting your needs. And then you bring a fulfilled person out into the world and you go and do things that you enjoy and you feel great in your body, great in the mirror. You like what you see. You love who you are and you are endeavoring to be better for yourself. And in that energy, you can go anywhere and your guy can come right in and slide right on into your energy sphere. I have had clients do this work and go and get gas for their car and meet a man at the gas station. I have had women go run an errand to get dog food at the dog gourmet bakery place, and at the gourmet bakery place, they meet a guy. I coach men also on this stuff. I have had men handle their codependency, learn how to get fulfilled from inside, deal with the childhood wounds. And then once they do, they go someplace fun, someplace that's exciting to them, and they meet people. It all starts with you. The more you heal, the more fulfilled you are from within, and the more that radiates outward. And that confidence and that glow, that confident woman, feminine energy is magnetic to masculine men. Number 2 question, how did I end up in a roommate dynamic over time? Number 1, you moved in as a roommate. right? You didn't move in as a fiance. There was no skin in the game. You were playing house, right? You moved in as a girlfriend. Don't do that. Hold yourself to a standard. 36 years old now. 8 years ago, you were younger, right? So you knew what you knew. You were operating from what you knew at the time. And so now you're older and wiser and more mature. You have an 8-year relationship under your belt, right? So what's the goal? You're 36 years old. You want to be married with children within probably the next 2 years, right? So this means that you have to focus, full on commit for the next 6 months. No dating, no nothing. Heal your codependency. And then once you do, because I've seen this, I've done it myself, to myself, with myself, and my clients too. I teach based on my own experience and stuff that I learned through my accreditation. But really, the nitty-gritty of what to do, how to actually exist in a relationship, how to exist within yourself so that you can attract a capable, masculine, incredible man. And if you're a man watching this, you can attract a beautiful, kind, nurturing, supportive, feminine, agreeable woman. And I teach people how to heal them so that they are fulfilled and they bring a fulfilled version of themselves, the true version of themselves, to the world. So this thing of ending up a roommate dynamic, you have to be clear from the start. I am dating for the purpose of attracting the father of my children, mother, and husband. I want a marriage and a family. That's why I'm dating. Period. And be prepared to walk away if you are seeing he behaves a little like a bachelor. He's not quite yet a husband. Look at how he treats you. Is he husband-like? Right? Look at how he is with his time. Right? If you're a husband, you want to be around your woman as much as possible. You work during the day, in the evenings you're together, weekends you have friends, you have things that you do together. None of this escape, playing video games, being a child. Start thinking about the kind of father you want for your children and then write that down. Write down the kind of husband that you want. Write it all down. Speak it into existence. Read what you wrote. It's very powerful. How can I make a man feel comfortable without overextending myself? Well, what this is alluding to is, how do I make a man feel comfortable? Meaning being yourself around this man and giving when it's appropriate to give without overextension. You overextend yourself because you're compensating for something. If you give from the heart and you give appropriately, then it's just received with gratitude and appreciation. But you didn't like when he received it with gratitude and appreciation because that wasn't enough for you, because you were giving to get him to change. This is the root of codependency. Needing other people to behave in a certain way to make you feel better. It's not how it works. Need to accept people for where they are and decide if they're for you. And keep it moving if they are not for you. How would you describe your ideal relationship? So you get to tell me what you think your ideal relationship is. So she says, someone who feels good about being present for her. That means you need to learn how to be present for yourself. Someone who will be supportive and allow her to express her feelings. That means you need to support yourself. You need to handle your self-talk. Learn how to affirm yourself and speak to yourself as if you loved yourself. He also has to be willing to build something with me. See? Perfect. She wants to have a marriage and a family. I won't consider leaving my apartment unless I'm married first. Atta girl. Good for you. See? Big lessons. This is what relationships do. They teach us lessons. The key is take what you learned and apply it. Don't make the same mistakes again. And heal those wounds that are really driving your behaviors and your decisions. What do you think keeps you from having your optimal romantic partnership? This is the juicy question, right? because it really helps people to self-reflect and really ask them, why am I so stuck in this? Why can't I attract the person that I truly want to be with and the type of person that I want and the type of life that I want, right? So she says that she thinks it's largely due to her mental state, that she feels stuck in the past because she didn't have a healthy dynamic in her home growing up. Aha. You see, all roads lead to childhood. She was the eldest of her family, a trophy child, and her parents' desires always came first. Okay. So in that dynamic, her parents entrained her and her nervous system to do what? Be the golden child, be the I please everyone at my expense. That's where she learned how to be that. So she grows up and seeks out relationships that mimic the same dynamic. What we don't heal, we repeat. See? So she takes her relationship dynamic with her family and she grows up and repeats it in a romantic relationship where she's doing, and doing some more and feeling resentful. So because of this, she says that she can't emotionally regulate properly. And so what I would teach her how to do is regulate nervous system. There are many ways to do this. You can look it up on YouTube. There are many ways that you could regulate your nervous system. There's something called the vagus nerve, and it's like a nerve that runs through your whole spinal cord, your body, all of it. And it's a way to regulate that so that you aren't so amped up and intense and in this fight or flight energy, right? That you're able to soothe yourself. And I do teach this as part of, the coaching process, but I didn't want to divert into that. Could do a separate video on that. And so because of her inability to regulate herself emotionally, she looks to a man to tether herself to. He becomes the source of her stability. That's codependency. Having a man around has helped as long as she felt his affection. The second he is feeling distant, she spirals out. She says that when she is alone, she feels like it will stay that way forever and that she'll remain childless. And it's causing her a lot of grief. Well, because she's now looking back at her choices and she's saying, I cannot believe I wasted 8 years of my life on this asshole who never thought to propose, to plan a future, to build together. And she thought that by giving, she can somehow change his mind. He would have stayed that way indefinitely. You weren't it for him. He is not it for you. And you stayed in it too long. And he took because a man can have kids whenever he wants. It's different for men than women. Women must be very, very careful about the moves that they're making in their 20s and early 30s. Because then after 35, you're in panic mode. Right? Looking back at all the relationships you were in prior and being like, these are all the mistakes that I've made. You were operating based on what you knew at the time. And now you find yourself here. So I am here to tell you that there is no reason why you can't dedicate the next 6 months to your healing. Meet somebody shortly after that, because once you do this inner work, you radiate on a level that your whole frequency changes. You become very appealing to men, and the right kinds of men who are secure, stable, ready. They want to be a dad. They want their wife. They're ready to have that life and lead that life. Right? So you can have it. If you have the desire in you, the same thing that put that desire in you for your mom and family and husband and all the things, that is the same thing that can bring it to you. Right? So dump the guy, keep the dream, and keep it moving. What you want exists. You just have to heal yourself in order to get it. And I can help you. So if you like this content and you want to connect with me and get your own free love life assessment, and notice I never use names, I never give details about the people, I just talk about situations. It's always confidential. So get your free love life assessment, click the link below in the description, head on over to lovequestcoaching.com, and I look forward to helping you with whatever you got going on in your relationship because you deserve to be happy.